Hello Internet, it's Egg. We're back in Factorio, back in the circuit factory. Once again, I'm here trying to make plans and think ahead, but not really. So obviously, what we want to do is get science back up and running, which is to say, demolish all this and move it actually up here onto the real bus, get a real science factory going. However, that might still be the next thing that I do, not the current thing that I do, because I think what I probably actually want to do is get this factory running in a way that, you know, is actually continuously running. Because it's only using part of this green belt, and the whole point of this map is to make a whole ton of green circuits, so either I shove them into a box, which, I mean, I guess I could do, or like an extra train or something, or I extend this factory out to make modules again, which is probably a decent idea, but that does mean I'm going to need to at least lay out the theoretical extent of the red circuits. So let me see. So we've got 20 here, so if I just do a quick copy of this, make sure my robot's turned off. Okay, so we've got 20 red circuits, and we need another 160 in theory. And on this side we should be able to fit, what, 30-ish, I think. So let's just lay that out appropriately, leave enough space for splitters, leave enough space for potential beacons, and then make sure you shift click to actually get it to go. The only reason I sort of stopped the extent of this factory here was in case I wanted to build a railway down here, because the rail line comes in over here. Actually, let me just lay out a ghost of that. No, this one. Okay, so it looks like we can probably still fit 40 on a row for red circuits. I guess they are slightly tighter packed than the green ones, since they only have a gap every other factory. So if that's 40 on that side, and then we do another 40 on this side, lined it up with this. And that helpfully is just below the bottom of the main oil line, although we do still need to make the sulfuric acid at some point. I could probably just bypass the pipes and then build one more, or however many more. Okay, so this is an entire 80. So if I were to do another full copy of that, so if that's 80, that's 160, that's 180, so that should be all the red circuits we need. In theory. Yeah, that should be all. It seems like I've got those numbers wrong somehow, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to say that I got the numbers right. I mean, if you look at how full this belt is with all these factories running, it's not full. Not even slightly full. This is only a yellow belt. If you consider that we're aiming to make not a red belt, but half a red belt. No, half a blue belt, which is slightly more than a red belt. And a red belt is 2 yellow belts, so if you consider that, then this probably is right. Okay, so with that layout done, we can fit in blue circuits and then get into modules. So let's make a plan for blue circuits. Okay, so obviously it's a whole ton of green circuits, some red circuits, and sulfuric acid. So again, we're going to assume that this is going to be running when only this factory is running and nothing else. Which means I theoretically need to do a little bit of extra maths, because making the red circuits uses some of the green circuits. It's what, like 2 green circuits per red circuit. So those 2 red circuits is equivalent to 4 green circuits. So that's 24 green circuits in total out of the 45 that I'm getting on the belt. So that's nearly half. Right? Yeah. I think I'll probably just count it as half because it's easier. So if it's 45 green circuits per second, and this recipe effectively uses 24 in 10 seconds, that's 2.4 a second. Oh no, wait, I forgot to factor in the machine. It's 24 in 10 seconds, but then it's 0.75 of that. So it's 1.8 per second. Yes, that makes sense. So that, to use a 45 belt, except it's not a 45 belt because we're using some of the green circuits to make the red circuit, so it's actually a 45 minus 4, so it's a 41 belt. No, wait, what am I talking about? It's still, I calculated it from the start as green circuits, didn't I? As 24 and 10. Yes, so it's effectively 25 blue circuit factories is what we need. So we'll go with 24 just because then it'll be symmetrical. And really that's not, you know, it's a very uncomplicated arrangement because you just need green and red in and blue out, and then the pipes. So obviously we're going to want, let's say we run sideway pipes and then have greens on the outside because you're going to need at least fast and probably stack inserters. Well, maybe not. What is it? It's 20 and 10, so that's like 2 per second, so maybe only fast. But you're probably not going to be able to get away with long. And then red circuits and then blue circuits. And then duplicate this. No. And we'll run the pipes in the middle and then branch them outwards this way. Is that a good idea? The only thing about doing it like this with the underground pipes in the middle is it does mean you have to use twice as many power poles because you need power poles on both sides if you do that. Which, you know, not really that much of a concern. More just an aesthetic thing. So let's just finish laying this out so I can just copy it. Okay, so we're thinking we're going to have at least blue inserters in on the edges, and then just a standard in and out arrangement for the other arms. And that should do. Oh, and don't forget to pre-put in the modules as well, just so your bots will do that too. Yeah, that probably is fine. And so we should be able to just stack that on the end of this. On this side maybe, so that I can pipe the sulfuric acid in from the back. That would probably make sense. Which means I might want to put the pipe on the other side. And also, do we want to leave space for beacons? Well, yeah, probably. which means I might need to double beacon it. Then again, do we really need beacons? Why am I always thinking of beacons? Because the whole point of building the factory this big is that it's using a full belt without beacons. I mean, I could always run speed modules in the beacons and prod modules in the machines and get more out, but then it'd still overflow the belt, so maybe it's not actually important to run beacons at all. Right, so how many of these do I need again? What did I say? 24. Okay, so that should be enough of the blue circuits. And then behind that we'll cram in a sulfuric acid maker, which means I'll need an iron belt. That was the thing that I didn't think of. Did I actually make this gap too big? It looks like it. I did. How convenient, because that's where I want to run the iron belt. Oh no, it's only too big because the green circuit factory has a double belt. That's right, that's why that looks weird. I'm so out of stuff, I need to go back to base and restock. So really we just want the iron to go out. Well, we may as well make it kind of symmetrical, I suppose. And I can come across here, go around the plastic, and then over here somewhere, and then there'll be some kind of sulfuric acid making device over there. I'll have to actually do a quick calculation of how much sulfuric acid I need, but I'll do that in a minute. Where's my car? Did I park it up here on the railway? I did. And I'll probably need a whole bunch more of the oil refineries, obviously, as we start increasing the red circuit production. Well, I mean, I'd actually have to build more of the red circuit production to increase it. It's running as fast as it can at the moment. Give me all that stuff, robots. Okay, good. Right, well, I think I'm going to try and keep this intro a bit shorter than average before we get into the sped up footage, because there's not really much to say. I think I've already covered everything we need to do. Get this factory online at least as far as making tier 1 modules, maybe tier 2, because I did actually research those now. Not that there's really any reason to use tier 2s. The only reason is if you're using efficiency modules, you'll notice that the limit to efficiency is minus 80%. So a tier 1 efficiency module gives you, what, minus 30? Yeah. So if you're doing, like, over here, if you're running mines, you can run 3 tier 1s and get effectively minus 90, but it's limited to minus 80. And then if you're running tier 2s, which give you minus 40, you could use 2 tier 2s and get minus 80 in 2 slots, which is good for assembly machine 2s, but not that necessary. And then obviously if you go higher to efficiency 3, it's not really relevant when you have 2 slots, but it might be relevant when you have 3 slots, because then you can fit in another module on top of efficiency. Or, you know, just not run efficiency and just shove tier 3 speed modules in everything. But I'm still in efficiency mode at the moment, just to not overload my power. Not that it's in any danger of being overloaded when half my base isn't doing anything, but it won't be long before everything turns back on and then the power load will go up, and then we might have to start considering building a reactor. Or at least extending this quite a lot more. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So the goal for the next couple of hours is probably going to be get this running, which shouldn't take too long, depending on how complicated I get with the modules. And then we can probably start the deconstruction of this, or not the deconstruction of it, the construction of the new version of it before I come and deconstruct it. Is more likely the way that's going to go. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, and we're back. Yeah, it's been... I felt a bit of idle time coming on. I got a bit standing there and watching stuff, but that's fine. We built out the entire circuit factory up to blue. I thought about extending it out to do modules, but in reality, the blue circuits are using up, all the throughput anyway, so it doesn't actually need... If all we're concerned about is keeping green circuits going as fast as possible to contribute to the achievement, then this is good enough for now. And I also built out the whole factory, including the whole oil refining segment, for no particular reason yet. I mean, obviously once we get blue belts we can come back and set that all up. And all the extra furnaces and all the extra train stuff. But that'll be a later problem. But I figured that since I, have the mall area, I could just quickly set this up. Well, it wasn't that quick, which will save me doing it later. And now I'm back over here, starting to just start building the science factory onto the actual main line. I'm going to be aiming to balance this to the equivalent speed of 10 factories doing green science, which is not like a round number or anything, it's just an arbitrary number, and it's also, who knows how much science I'm actually going to want being produced in the long term. But we'll start with this much and go from there, because 10 factories is probably about what I usually go with. So down here I'm starting to lay out the design for grey, and then opposite it will be blue. This isn't quite right, is it? You need these one further down. So the idea here will be that we'll put ammo on the other side of this belt from the walls. That will come in here, and then the grenades will just get directly inserted across. And obviously the grenades will need 2 belts for iron and coal, because they use quite a lot. And then we'll do the ammo up the top. So 3 piercings and 1 regular, except we'll probably just do it the old split method. Shall I do it right up onto the edge? Then we'll do it set back. So it's steel, copper and magazines. That's not it right either, is it? It's going to need to go 1 square further up. Right, steel, copper and magazines. Now, do I do them side by side or staggered? Well, I don't need that many. I mean, obviously I'll probably want to overflow the ammo just for putting it in gun turrets for now. So I think probably side by side will work. Let's just go all the way. If we're going to have an overflow, we may as well make it a decent amount. Okay, so the outbound of ammo should merge onto there. And the inbound of ammo will be a half belt of iron and steel and a belt of copper. Probably 2 belts anyway. Yeah, that looks fine. Well, that will be on the right side of the belt, so that will be on the top. No, it would need to go on the other side, so we'll need to do this. Wait, no, not even that. the other way around. You need it on the bottom. This. No, that's also not it. This one. Right, let's get all the arms set. What is this? This is like 1 in 3, isn't it? Yep, okay. And for maths' sake, I'm not considering the speed of the factories in any of these calculations. I mean, as long as they're all the same factory, it won't matter. I'm just doing it by ratios for now and not worrying about belt throughput or anything. I'll upgrade the belts as necessary, because this should all come well under, well, it should all come well under blue belts for sure. Probably most of it will come under the throughput of red belts as well. Okay, what way round are we on this? Does it matter? It's probably better to put that at the back. So we'll have copper on the inner belt and iron and steel on the outer belt. Is that really necessary? It's 4 in 1. Yeah, you'll probably want to. Okay, that should be the ammo, and it goes onto the back of the belt, and then the walls come in here, which is 2 in 1 second. 5 bricks, that's fine. Then we've got the grenades. Those can come in on the back, I guess, because their direct insertion doesn't really matter. And then output science. Okay, and then the grenades need their belts. And it's what? 5 in 8 and 10 in 8. So that's not like... It's like 2 per second. So, wow. Well, we'll put coal on the inner belt and iron on the outer belt, I guess. That makes sense. Okay, and that should be grey science done. And then obviously blue science we'll do on the other side, but we'll worry about that in a minute. We should just be able to take this very slowly, because I'm still only using my personal RoboHawk down here, because I didn't want the main logistics area interfering with this while I was constructing it. And then once we've got grey science and blue science up, I can actually start doing research again, right? Yeah, because I've still got quite a lot of grey and blue stuff still to do. Several, like, turret upgrades that are just several tiers of that before I even get towards the yellow science that I can just have running in the background. Of course, to make blue science, we've actually still got to get round to building this oil refinery, which is still just a blueprint at the moment. And connecting up all the oil, or this patch of oil, I guess, maybe that one. And I should also think about actually making fuel blocks for the trains, because I didn't do that. Right, anyway, this needs to go right in line here, so about there should be fine. Oh, and some lights. Don't forget the lights. Okay, let's connect up all the belts and get this running. What was it? This is steel, iron at the back, copper at the front. Steel is all the way on the other side. And I don't even want to think about how much this is going to interfere with everything on this side of the bus. But that's a future problem. Oh yes, and don't forget the efficiency modules. Still got plenty of them hanging around. Because the main reason I didn't actually connect up the power to all this is just for the idle power cost. Because that's... is that affected by efficiency modules? I don't actually know. Guess I've never worried about idle power. Let's actually have a look. Doesn't look like idle power is affected by efficiency modules. Okay. Right, so that's the red ammo coming through. Let's actually make a little box at the end here to store some. Like, I don't know, 5 stacks. Okay, so what did I say? I said iron on top, coal on the bottom. Wait, no, not like that. Now, I don't actually know where I'm going to have coal on the main bus, I guess. Because I've already laid out circuits. Then there's going to be stone and coal. Nope, stone's already over here, so that's not that. So I guess we could put it on this next one. If I rework these belts a little bit to allow me to split it off. Except that's not even a full belt, is it? It might be time to invert the coal coming through here. Oh wait, hang on. No, I've actually already built it. I've just connected up the circuit belts wrong. That's what I've actually done. Oh. Well, that's kind of annoying. Well, I guess I'll just do this. Does coal need to actually go further down this bus? Probably not. Does it? I don't think so. Maybe. Okay, so that's coal and iron, making the grenades, then we need the stone bricks for the walls. Actually think about it, I could probably even set up a fancy filter inserter combo arm. That's too much effort. I'll just make 2 boxes with 2 filter inserters. That'll be much quicker. Because then we can get a few walls as well as ammo. No, wait, that was the wrong box. May as well put the rest of those in there for now. Okay, that's grey sign. So one of my trains has finally run out of fuel. I was wondering when that was going to happen. Well, in that case, I guess I'll take a break from doing this science and go over there and build a fuel block maker. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. What will I need? I'll need an oil refinery, couple of petrol plants, chemical plants. Let's see, we'll need like one to crack heavy to light, one to make light into fuel blocks, one to make gas into fuel blocks. Oh yeah, and another thing I did while I was working, I fixed up my hotbars so that they're now more organised. Right, so what we're probably going to do is, since we want to fuel here, we'll just set up a little refinery up here coming off this oil line and, well, maybe not those water pipes, maybe we'll run its own separate water pipe. And we can just use this same thing again, except not quite this exact same thing. The top half of this. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just do this manually. But let's come down here and set up a belt so I know what the alignment is. So, where are the trains? They're going to be about here-ish. Is there any particular spot that I want to run this refueling belt? Running it as close to the station would be good, because then these undergrounds can get moved up slightly. Might not need these last ones. These 2 stations might actually be completely pointless for this factory, or maybe I'll double up iron and copper or something, I don't know. You're going to need an underground belt as well. Arguably I should have done these in range of the other power poles, but another power pole isn't going to hurt anyone. It just looks slightly messy. So it is going to hurt someone. It's going to hurt me, psychically. Psychically? Not exactly the right word, but close enough. Okay, so let me just make this setup a bit further up here for now. Okay, so oil refinery, doing the proper splitting. And then it will be similar to the other arrangement, where you'll have, not like that. What spacing is it? You need water, you need an underground pipe for the light oil. We should be able to make it slightly more compact. Since all we're worried about is fuel blocks. And then you just need 2 factories that use all of the fuel. So one making it out of light oil, one making it out of gas, and those go onto a belt, and the belt goes into the trains. And we might want to make sure we give priority to these ones, because otherwise it will back up. But apart from that, that should be everything we need. So if we want to prioritise those ones, we just want the belt to go like this, essentially. And that should be more than enough to run a few trains. So if we just drop that there, because it will fit nicely without having to use any cliff explosives. Give it some power poles and a connection to the actual main power. And then connect up the oil and water pipes. It should be okay to take some of this, I think. I'm pretty sure that you theoretically should only need 1 pump to run that whole oil refinery down here. Okay. Now let me just grab some of these. And then we'll go refuel that train that's out of fuel, wherever it is. Which one is it? It's this one. How close is everyone else to running out of fuel? You're good. You're fine. And you're fine too. Okay, that's that minor problem sorted out. Of course, I'll need to do the same thing up at the main base, but we'll get to that in a minute. Well, not even in a minute. We'll get to that once we've actually set up the main base's oil refinery. Oh, and don't forget the efficiency modules. Okay, good. Right, and that's the end of this video. So, put on the title not the title, put it on the end card. It would be weird to put on the title card at this point. Put it on the end card. We've got our Facebook and Twitter, mostly there to inform you about our podcast when that gets uploaded to our website and various other podcast locations, podcast servers, whatever you want to call them, podcast apps. It's on some of them. And then you're probably watching this on our YouTube channel, to which you can subscribe if you want to have more content like this and like things, if you feel like liking things. Engagement. And that's the end of this episode of Factorio. I need to stop.